Hey, welcome back to another episode of Ping Pong Flix. My name is Chris Wong. This is episode 497 of the Ping Pong Flix Show. Very few updates, but I thought I'd want to kind of review a animated film for once, only because it's Superman. So I have to watch it, and it actually is, it's pretty good. But before I get into that, Mikhail has noticed or got pictures of the face behind the Joker that was in Birds of Prey. His name is Johnny Goth. As if you've seen the movie, and I hope you've seen the movie. It's not going to be in theaters for long at this rate, but there is indeed a Jared Leto Joker in the movie, but you briefly see him. There is one scene where it's from the Suicide Squad, but you can barely see him. And then there's this scene which they had filmed without Jared Leto, but had a look-alike with that suit on. And now, you may be wondering, well, what's going on here? He doesn't have a lot of the tattoos on his face, but you do notice he does have that J tattoo, and that's because he turns for like half a second, and I feel like that is an incredible amount, just that detail, just to put that one thing, just in case people get that snapshot and see that, oh, okay, that is the Jared Leto Joker. So and this is also the Suicide Squad jacket as well, so they are trying to, in a way, preserve that this Joker that is with Harley Quinn at that time, before they broke up, is indeed the Jared Leto Joker, and that concept will not go away. You can't see his teeth or anything, but you do see that he is decked with jewelry. His is very much that same look as the Jared Leto Joker. So for fans of the Jared Leto Joker, I guess it's nice to see that they are preserving that design. Whether Jared Leto comes back or not, we shall see. But it is indeed that version of Joker's is within this DCEU and it's continued to be in this DCEU. Yes, it's pretty much like a same thing we've done with Superman in Shazam, right? That headless Henry Cavill body double, and same thing that we have here in this case. At least they actually show a little bit part of his face and hair, but for the most part, it's not Jared Leto. It's not like the cameo we had in David Ayer's Suicide Squad, where you actually see Ezra Miller show up as Flash. You actually see Bruce Wayne talking to Amanda Waller. You actually see Batman, Ben Affleck's Batman, fighting Deadshot and fighting Joker and Harley. You don't have those type of cameos right now. Are they going to have that in the future? We will have to wait and see about that. But speaking about Batman, this article came out. The Batman star Robert Pattinson admits he still has bad memories of paparazzi, right? And I'll go straight to what he's taught, because he's played in different things like the Twilight Saga, of course, and so he handled, he brought up a lot of memories about handling them. I have so many terror memories of the paparazzi, Pattinson told GQ. I still don full-on protective armor, hood up, hat down, and soon as he sees a tail, he would just disappear again. It worked after a while. They're just like, oh, the guy's just a hassle. There are ways to disappear like fairly easy, but you have to be living a quite strange life. It just involves effort, and most people can't really be bothered to put the effort in. So yeah, constantly being hidden, constantly being, chased down by paparazzi during that time, and it's not gonna go away. Sorry to say, Robert Pattinson, it's probably gonna get worse. You're gonna be the Batman now. You're big up there. You're someone that paparazzi will constantly take pictures of. I mean, look at even now, Ben Affleck's getting constantly taking pictures of, whether he's out with his kids and stuff like that. It's gonna happen, and it's already happening now. And hopefully it doesn't, get in the way of his life. But I can tell you this, that I feel, in my opinion, really, is that him saying this and him, we're hearing about Robert Pattinson not really caring too much about the paparazzi aspect, and that's why um, a lot of it he kind of just shied away from these major films. He was doing independent film, all these things, the Lighthouse and such. So it really, I think it will take a toll on him. I think he's the kind of guy he's not like gonna be a franchise Batman. He's not gonna be here forever. He's gonna be either a one and done it, or a one, two, and three and done it. Kind of like what Christian Bale did with Batman Begins, Dark Knight, Dark Knight Rises, and that's it. He's probably not interested in a giant franchise where he's just gonna be followed and along. So we'll see how much it'll take, how successful the Batman is for one, how popular he is as the Batman, and if he can take this much attention as such. He's a celebrity, of course, he can take a lot of attention, but does he want to? Does he? That's the question is. And for me, every time he talks about his interest in the Batman was because of the character study of it. How long can you make a character study of something? And it feels like he's approaching it in a different fashion, approaching it in a more independent film-like fashion, and maybe that's not how it's going to end up. So once it starts getting into a certain way, is he going to just dig? Is he just going to, like, I'm done with it, one more and that's it? Or is he going to continue on? So that would be interesting to see. And that's why, frankly, for me, I feel like he is definitely not going to stay very long. Like, you won't be seeing this Batman interact with Gal's Wonder Woman and Jason Momoa's Aquaman, stuff, and so on and so forth. I think it's going to be its own thing, possibly a trilogy if he even gets that far, and then that'll be it for Robert Pattinson as the Batman. So, but yeah. But there are other things hopefully coming down the pipeline, and Scott Derrickson kind of chimed in a little bit. Now, we know Scott Derrickson was let go, or he left Doctor Strange, the second movie, over creative differences, and so he's kind of in open right now. And someone did ask him, would you be down to direct a Justice League Dark movie? Because we know that it's being rumored now, especially in the media, the higher media, like Deadline or Hollywood Reporter, I forgot who talked about it, but said that J.J. Abrams is looking into possibly, either producing or something, Justice League Dark movie, right? And so, and someone asked him, would you be down to direct a Justice League Dark movie, since he's into horror and stuff? And he says, I do Constantine. And I think him saying that is a great. I like that. I really like that. He's into horror. If he's able to capture Constantine, no PG-13 restrictions and things like that, I think it could very much work. Now you're wondering, well, didn't you just talk about PG-13 restrictions? Having PG-13 restrictions in these type of films, and having it be good in the box office, like what's Birds of Prey suffering right now. Yeah, I get that, but I think it depends on who he's shooting for, right? I think Birds of Prey was trying to, in a way, shoot towards girls who want to be able to speak for themselves and fight crime and things like that, and do things for them, girl power. Yet they restricted the age limit for that, and so it didn't grow that big. But I think for Constantine, the first Constantine, Keanu Reeves, was an awesome Constantine. I love that movie. It did fairly okay. But it became a kind of a cult hit in a way, and that's probably because of Keanu Reeves. And it did all right. It did quite good. But if it's part of a universe, part of the DCEU, it could do quite more, right? And it would be catering to guys like guys and older. Not necessary. It's not necessary for kids. We're not trying to get little boys to be Constantine. So it will be a different animal altogether. It will be for the horror genre, the supernatural genre, these types of genres. So I think it would work a lot more than what Birds of Prey was trying to achieve with our rating. So I think it could do really good. And Scott Derrickson is free. He is is a person seemingly with like integrity, right? And meaning I want to be able to make the movie I want to make, and able to willing to walk away because of creative differences. Would be a great opportunity for Warner Brothers to scoop him up right now and see if he can do Constantine, right? So we'll see. We'll see what happens with that, but we do need some of that, and also, someone to do the Justice League Dark movie. And there are people who've been. Us reading the script or gotten the script for Guillermo del Toro's Justice League Dark movie, and would have been awesome. And that's sad to hear. It really is. Hopefully, J.J. Abrams probably does have access to those scripts and to those stories and screenplay by Guillermo del Toro and try to adapt it in a certain way. So, in a way, it's another area of DC. Let's get into the horror supernatural. Why not? We kind of went there with Shazam, but now let's go full on one end alongside of the giant tent poles like Wonder Woman, Aquaman, hopefully Superman one day. But speaking of Superman, I did get to watch Superman Red Son, and I'd say it was pretty good. Yes, I pulled up these pictures because when I saw them, it just reminds me of Batman v Superman. It reminds me of Zack Snyder's, Batman v Superman. Just the way it was kind of framed and stuff. I get it. It's from the comic panels. They had this in like Kingdom Come and stuff like this. But it's cool to see, Superman versus Batman, things like that. So it was pretty good. And I encourage you to go and watch it, right? I encourage you to go and watch it. If you've read the comics, though, and maybe if you read the comics, though, you can kind of feel like they're really speeding along. They kind of watered a lot of it down, and they go through the basic storyline arc. But of course, there's certain people's, no spoilers, certain characters, the way they handle things are different in the comics than this. Maybe they kill they kill in this, but not in the comics. Certain characters' sexual orientation is also different. There's those aspects, and the way things happen and how people die, the characters die, are also different as well. But for the most part, you kind of got it. They kind of went through the basics of it. The basic premise is watered down for sure, and they formulate it and they pull things together, and then they cut things out from the comics and stuff like that. But that's what you're gonna get, because you can't. Unless you're Zack Snyder, it's hard to adapt the comic fully on like how he did with 300, with some certain alterations within the thing. But for the most part, it was an enjoyable animated film. Probably one of the best, I feel like, and I love how it and you're just looking at this picture, this one picture right here. It kind of just full circle when you think about it towards the end, and I think it was very enjoyable. Of course, there are some things like Batman's arc, which was kind of like thrown in there along with the Green Lantern thing, and it was kind of not, I wouldn't say wasted, but I felt like they could have developed a lot of these other characters more. But the focus was Superman, and that was indeed true, although the depth of the story is not as good as the comics, like I said, but it was enjoyable enough to entertain and enjoyable enough to see an incredible action, by the way, with Superman 2 and Superman, well, in the animated, it's Superior Man, and we have that like is just entertaining to watch, seeing the incredible action, how much this animation is. It's over, and it's like an hour and a half or less than an hour and a half. So yeah, I mean, it's going to not be able to fit a lot of it, but they got the basic gist of it, and it entertains you enough to watch it again. And I thought this was a pretty good animated purchase, and I look forward to watching it again. So if you're a big fan of Superman, definitely this. There's a lot of great moments in here. A lot of great shots that remind you of a certain awesome movie that Zack Snyder made. And if you're willing to want to see a little bit more Superman versus Batman, and Superman versus Green Lantern, Superman versus Brainiac, Superman versus Luthor, they have so many cool moments in this that you cannot pass up. And I think the way the timeline, how it's just in the phases throughout his kind of life, not all of it, not to the point that I would love to have seen how it progressed in life. It seems so fast, rather more spread out, I feel, in the comics. But that's fine, though. It got the gist of it. And yeah, huge recommended. Superman Red Son. It's out on digital right now. I think physical is a little later. I'm not sure. But if you're a digital guy, kind of like me, because I don't have much space anymore, then be sure to pick up Superman Red Son. All right, guys. Well, that is it for today. Thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.